Zazel is one of the most popular yokai because everybody loves a good emo. However, he was actually a big boss in this game, which is funny because he then becomes a playable yokai in Yokai Watch 3. However, the post-boss mod makes him playable because why would he not be? If Lord Emma can be playable, then his right-hand man can too. Zazel is an S-rank fighter yokai of the Shady tribe. He has a base HP stat of 450, a strength stat of 130, a spirit stat of 255, a defense stat of 190, and is of the normal speed tier. His skill is Super Sucker. He gets 50% more soul meter charge, so his ultimate has like 400 charge, so like 400 charge needed. So with his skill, he only needs to get 300 charge to get his ultimate, which is really good. Sadly, it is not like super like easy to understand. Basically, his ultimate charge is 1.5 times faster, and then if you have another buff on it, it'll charge twice as fast. So if you have two of them, like you have this and a skill that does it, then you'll have 200 charge only needed, which is pretty good. His basic attack is Reap. Reap has 45 base power, a 1 second cooldown, and actually heals your foes because it's a drain element. Now, the thing with drain element is that I don't really think it's all that impressive. You see, drain does damage, but also slightly heals you. However, it's very rare for you to need to heal and to not have, like, a healer of some sort. Like, if I'm playing a spirit character, I'm almost always bringing Princess Pearl. Unless it's Total Demon, who doesn't want to be healed, period. So the thing is, with Zazel, is that even though he can heal himself, like, most equip setups will either give him too little spirit for him to heal much, or give him too much HP, and he won't heal much of his HP at all, even if he is healing a decent amount. So, if you give him, like, a bauble, and he has, like, 700 HP, you're only healing, like, I don't know, 50 HP, you're gonna have to heal 50 HP 14 times. It's crazy. However, with the help of a character like Katsu-chan, who is buffing my defense, and then has an equip that also buffs defense, I will be able to take attacks, and then my HP stat isn't, like, super high, so that, I mean, it's still, like, really high. Like, comparatively, it's higher than Hinozal's, and not as high as Princess Pearl's, but it's higher than Katsu-chan's. He has a really high HP stat, which is really useful. And with this extra defense from the equip I have, he'll be able to tank attacks, and then actually be able to heal them back up. So, let's talk about his learnable moves, because they're pretty important. His first learnable move is Zazel Orb. This has 80 base power, but 200 when charged. Has 5 seconds of cooldown, but 6 when it's charged, so it actually takes a little bit longer when you charge it. Gives 14 soul meter when uncharged, but 25 when fully charged. And when you fully charge it, it debuffs all enemy stats for a short time. I don't know by how much, or by, like, how long. The spreadsheet does not say. I mean, it says numbers, but I can't read them, so. It also takes 2 seconds to charge, so pretty important. Zazel Orb is really good. It uses the spirit stat, so it's a very useful move to have, because being able to debuff the enemy to make them deal, like, less damage and take more damage is pretty useful. His second learnable move is Reaper. Reaper, and not Reap like his basic attack, 2 separate moves. Has 60 base power, but 200 when charged, 3 seconds of cooldown when uncharged, 2.5 when charged, gives 40 soul meter uncharged, but only 50 when charged, and takes 2.5 seconds to fully charge. This is really useful if you need to, like, deal tons of damage and heal a lot at once, so that's a very useful move in order to have, even if your basic attack can already heal you. His third learnable move is Invincible Stance. You press the button, and you become invincible for 5 seconds, and it has 20 seconds of cooldown. If you don't need to be able to heal yourself super fast, or you're, like, running a more, like, support-oriented Zazel, then Invincible Stance can work well. His fourth learnable move is Big Defense Drop. When you fully charge it, you will decrease the foe's defense by 32% for 15 seconds. In, like, reality, I think it's actually more close to, like, 40%, because, like, number rounding is all weird and all that. But being able to debuff the enemy's defense is really good in any sort of setup. So Zazel can keep himself alive and also help other allies by letting them deal more damage. Now, I'm not going to be able to show that, but debuffs are super useful, because against bosses like Wisp Cream, who's got like 350 defense upwards of, that's a lot. A lot of his defense is just cut, so everybody does more damage. And if Zazel debuffs the enemy's defense and then hits them, he's going to deal more damage and therefore heal more HP. Super useful. His ultimate is Judgment Wave. It has 67 base power and hits 6 times, uses the Spirit stat, requires 400 charge, but with his ultimate, with his skill, that's only 300 charge needed. And it's pretty useful, you know. Multi-hits and being able to spam ultimates is really fast. So I decided to give him the Zazel's Agate Ring for a huge buff to his Spirit stat, a slight amount of defense so that way he's a little bit tankier, and 50% more soul meter. So basically, I only need 200 charge. So if I fully charged Reaper and hit 4 of them, I should have my ultimate, I think. I haven't tested this very often, but Zazel's pretty good. And then we're going to give him the Captain Thunder Soul, just for like more like crits. Crits are cool. If you don't want to give him the Agate Ring, you could give him something like the Creator's Wand, the Moon God Wand, if you want to use like a more support oriented, because buffing your ally spirit's pretty good. If you go a crit based setup, you can do this, but then you have less HP, and then the drain just doesn't really matter, and then you just bring something like Styx Mark 6. You could give him a Bauble, but because he's like so tanky, like his healing doesn't really feel that impactful, but he wouldn't die very often, so you could if you wanted to just bring a character that doesn't die, but in which case I'd just bring somebody like Starry Neon or Golden Neon, someone like that, because while you could do this, it's not really all that special, and there are better options. You could bring the Spooky Squasher for more support-oriented stuff. So yeah, he's got some options, it's just a lot of options are better, but because he has so many options, you can get away with it. You could also bring the Zazelmir's Ring for 20 more spirit and start with your soul meter, but I'd rather just have the 50% more soul meter, and that extra 20 spirit doesn't do much in the long run. For support, I'm running Princess Pearl, spirit buffing character that also like heals, super useful. Even though I don't even need the healing, the extra spirit stats is going to make me heal myself even faster. So if the CPU like sucks or something, I'll be able to heal myself just fine. Then we got Hinozal. Hinozal is like obviously good. Spirit buffing, like Disruptor, cool stuff like that. I'm going to give him a Bauble just because I'm not going to spam his ultimate and I don't want the CPU to die very often, so we're going to do that. That works. And then Katsu-chan. You could also run Gabby. I've just brought Katsu-chan because variety. I have him with big defense boost for like unkillable CPUs. Paradise, you could also give him Circle Restore. And then his skill and his equips both give defense. So I am like unable to die by physical hits most of the time. And then a little bit of extra healing because why not? So with all that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the top politician of the yokai world and see just how good he is. So we're going to start off with Golden Claws, because Golden Claws is really difficult. And because I don't want the fight to break like it did in the last video. So I was going to do Zazel last week, but okay, so the thing with some plus characters, like newly introduced, they don't have like sliding animations, so obviously Zazel doesn't really work. But it's fine, it works well enough for what we're doing. So as you can see, I heal a whopping 38 HP every time I hit with my basic attack, and if I fully charge Cypher and go over here and hit Gleam with it, I'm going to deal a whopping 600 damage and heal 130. So yeah, and I already got a quarter of my soul meter ready, so that's very useful to have. So Zazel, he's also really tall, like look at this, it's crazy. So we're going to get this big debuff. You could also give him a Robonyan 28 soul, because you're going to be charging quite a bit. And as you can see, 153 HP off that heal. Super useful. And if I'm just like hitting him every now and then, we can very easily get some big debuffs and some huge damage at the same time. And as you can see, my ultimate's ready. So I'm going to get another Zazel's Orb, so that way I can hit him, debuff him, and then use my ultimate. And as you can see, it's pretty decent damage. We got probably about 1,000 damage right there, and considering how fast I can like throw out my ultimate, we're pretty good. 1,000 damage right there, super nice. Stand back here, get a big 700, almost 200 HP healed right there, super nice. So Zazel he's really good at just like existing in the battle. He's not really gonna die very often unless you just do something like really stupid. But as you can see, we'll just throw this little ball right here, do this, get a quick little reap right here, get a ginormous debuff, because of course. Then we're going to get my ultimate, because of course, yeah, as you can see, even the ginormous, like, fire pillar it did like half my HP. And even if Princess Pearl didn't heal me, I'd be able to like do it all myself. So I'm gonna try to heal myself. Oh, Princess Pearl did it, but yeah, as you can see, 230 HP right there because of the little extra buffs. Very, very nice. So if you're able to bring like a defense debuff on yourself because you got allies and all that, you can very easily just like support your allies while also making sure you're not a liability to the team. Zazel's, I think he's pretty good. He's a very fun character to play, as you can see with these big buffs, like goodness, we probably did like 1500 right there. Super nice, probably more. As you can see, I'm a little bit too far, so sadly I did not get my giant reap, so that was a little bit of time wasted, but whatever. You're gonna get a debuff because, yeah, I'm always critting on the debuff, but I'm never critting on the siphon. You have just enough time to be able to do your debuff and then do your full power reap, so that's always nice to keep in mind. As long as you don't get interrupted, you'll be able to get a full power reap for a lot of HP. So as you can see, we're going to Sultimate to kill that little guy and also get Golden Claws down. Get a debuff, and then charge out that. Full power, 1200 for 300 HP heal. That is as much as Princess Pearl did right there. That is super good to be able to just exist and do that much damage for free while also healing yourself. Goodness. So yeah, I think Zazel's, he's good. He's not a DPS character. He's the kind of character you play when you're just like hanging out with friends. You got like, I don't know, maybe when Phantasmarite comes out, you're like, okay, I need to be able to make sure I can heal myself and not like be a liability to the team. You bring Zazel so that way you don't die like super easily. So we're just gonna go over here. You have to actually have like a like enemy to hit, obviously, but as long as you don't get hit, we just barely missed it. Dang, what a shame. But wow, oh wow, the computers survived that. Sometimes they don't. It's crazy. So as you can see, I got a nice heal right there for myself. Super nice. So we're going to debuff. We're then going to get my Sultimate off. Big power, like a lot of damage on that Sultimate. You love to see it. So we're gonna get that. Sadly, no crit, but it was still 134 damage. That's pretty good. So we're gonna try to get a little bit closer. Do that. 500 damage. The big like base power of Drain and Reap is really good. Sadly, Reap, the basic attack, only has 45 base power, and even though it's only like 5 base power, it is still like lower than every other basic attack elemental. So kind of a shame there, but I mean it's kind of whatever, because being able to heal yourself is super nice, especially since Reap has this ginormous like AoE. I don't think it's an AoE, but it feels like it sometimes. And yeah, as you can see, huge base power, and with this final hit, I didn't charge it up all the way. But yeah, as you can see, we won pretty easily. Like, we're going to like take damage, but I mean it's not really gonna matter. So we're gonna buff everybody because we can. And so now we have tons and tons of buffs. We're a little bit faster. Have a defense buff, so the allies just won't die. That's another reason Katsu-chan's so good. Because, like, I mean, it's just, like, crazy. So we're going to go over here. We're going to target. And with that, we win. 1300. So, Zazel, he's very, like, difficult for the boss to kill. We didn't lose my getaway pushes. And, again, this is one of the hardest fights in the game. Because that, you know, big old Sultimate didn't even do anything. Maybe if I was solo, it'd be a little bit more difficult. I wouldn't do very much damage, but I wouldn't really die either. So he can handle like little minions and all that too. So like if you take damage from them, you can just like kill them and heal right back up. So here we've got Lunar Captain Thunder. Lunar Captain Thunder is one of the bosses that I take damage on the most because I am just really bad at this fight for some reason. But with this giant debuff and the fact that we have ranged moves, we can pretty easily just hit him and then heal myself back up, so I won't actually take much damage. Even if I do get hit, I'll be able to just heal myself back up. I can debuff him, debuff his stats a little bit so he doesn't do as much damage, and with all the defense buffs and all the healing, we shouldn't really die, at least not very, very easily. We can deal with the little cream puffs without much difficulty, get a nice debuff, do a ultimate for huge tons of power. Like, look at that. I mean, it's not very much base power. I mean, not much damage per hit. But remember, his ultimate multi-hit is 67 base power. That's lower than fallback attack. And it's hitting 6 times, which is why it does so much damage overall. Because 6 hits is kind of a lot. Imagine if I did 7 or like 6 fallback attacks. That's how much damage I would have done if I was like a physical attacker. So the thing with spirit stats is that you can get like really high spirit stats. But once you start getting to like the 550 to like 600 range, it's kind of diminishing returns. You don't really get too much of an impact, even though it's like, oh, but like 650 is higher than 500. But it's not as much of a buff comparatively as like, if you were to do like 300 spirit all the way up to like, I don't know, 200. Like, you'll get more of an impact going from 200 to 300 than you will from 500 to 600. So that's kind of something to watch out for. So if you have, like, there is an equip that gives you, like, 500 spirit, but you can't, like, be revived. It's not that good, because it doesn't have any secondary effects, and just, like, all that high spirit is, like, yeah, while it does give you more damage, you could get, like, more if you were to bring something like the Zazel's Agate Ring, where it gives you a lot of spirit, but also gives you a little bit of defense, and also gives you a skill of more soul meter charge. So you could very easily just, like, spam your ultimate, and because of how fast you're being able to spam your ultimate, you can pretty easily just not have to have 600, or like, what would it be? If I were to give Zazel 500 extra spirit, he'd have like, what, 700? He's got 255, if he had 755 spirit, which is a lot, obviously. And, like, it would be, like, a pretty big, like, damage increase comparatively to what I have now. But because I can spam my ultimate super fast, I feel like the Agate Ring is just more important. And being able to spam your ultimate gives invincibility frames, so you're not going to die very often. And if you die with the 755 spirit, well, you can't be revived. So you're like, all of your damage is, like, super cool and all, but if you die, well, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, if you got getaway plushes, being able to, like, not be revived doesn't really matter, because you got 2 lifelines right there. So as long as you're not fighting a boss that's just, like, absolutely shredding you, or you don't just, like, suck at the game or something, you should be fine. Oh no, all that damage. So even uncharged, that healed a huge chunk of my HP. So we're just gonna stand back here. We're gonna, like, look at this healing in action. Like, super nice. Pretty powerful. I like it. 69 HP. Love to see it. So we're going to wait for him to get over here, get this debuff, and then get a ultimate for as much power as possible. Get a little heal right back. Nice. Love to see it. So the thing with Zazel is that he doesn't really do that much damage. However, because he's just not going to die, it's very difficult for the boss to actually, like, do anything about Zazel. He can kind of just stand back here. He'll be able to, like, survive. So if you're playing with, like, a tan bow or like a Styx Mark 6, Zazel's just going to sit back here. He's going to deal some ginormous defense debuffs to the enemy, and we're going to pretty easily be able to just, like, keep supporting allies. Like, as you can see, 2 double shot revolution Gs, and I'm still not dead. So I can do this, and as you can see, like, with both Princess Pearl's, like, uncharged hit and my own, I fully healed myself. Like, nothing happened. It was crazy. So with that, yeah, having a Robonyan soul would be super useful, because I keep accidentally, like, letting the charge go just a little bit too fast. So I would recommend doing that. Like, these aren't like perfect guides, like, even though I do think that these are like some really good, like, setups for these characters, you could always do better. I encourage free thinking on this channel. I don't want to just, like, give you answers, because then you'll be asking me, like, stupid questions. I'm like, you should be able to figure this out. No hate to anybody. It's just something I've noticed in, like, the Puni circle of my audience. I don't know what the plus audience is like. I feel like y'all are more free thinkers usually, because I've, like, you ask for, like, actual characters that are, like, interesting. Like, all of the big bosses. A lot of the big bosses are, like, super interesting. Like, Captain Thunder, not really. He's just, like, worse Emperor Usapion. But Styx Mark 6 is pretty unique. He's very unique. Slime Commander and Hydra, they're pretty unique. At least Hydra is. I don't know about Slime, but Hoggles and Sproink. Hoggles at least is pretty unique. So yeah, there's a lot of like cool bosses. Rubius J, I really like playing Rubius J. Hardy Hound is like a better Bomblewalk, so even though I really like Bomblewalk, it's not that good, but he is like a lot better than Bomblewalk. Bomblewalk's pretty mid, sadly enough. Like even though he was like the first character I did a character guide for, he is like pretty mid. He's very fun if you got like 4 friends and you just like Bomblewalk all over the place. You do so much damage, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, as you can see, like I'm just like yapping and ranting away. And we're not struggling out. This is Lunar Captain Thunder, by the way. This is harder than Ultra, and we can still just survive just fine. Like as you can see, I'm taking like 900 damage. Wow, how crazy. Good thing I can just like heal myself all the way back here. It takes like like multiple hits to be able to heal myself, but I mean, I'm not dying. And as long as I'm not getting like constantly berated by like everything. If we were ever to fight like Lunar Captain Thunder and then like some other boss, I get hit with both a double revolution G and something else, and then I would die, but that's a very big if. And even then, you could just bring a second Katsu-chan and you wouldn't take much damage anyway, so. Yeah, Zazel's damage, not the craziest, but his survivability is off the charts. So with Zazel, he actually has 2 costumes, one of which is not out in the game yet. One's coming in the next update, so that'll be neat, and it's like normal Zazel. But if we go down to the secret closet all the way down here, you'll be able to see that after we let this vending machine go, I really wish I could just like run back here, but it takes a minute. So Zazel has his normal form and his vampire form from Yokai Watch Puni Puni, or is it from Yokai Watch World? I don't know. It's a Nyanbo and Puni, so I focus on it. I have 2 Zazels though, so yeah, as you can see, I have Vampire Zazel all by himself. Vampire Zazel is also an S-rank fighter yokai of the Shady tribe. He actually has like quite a huge change in his stats. He's got 418 base HP, 236 base strength, 256 spirit, 150 defense, and is of the normal speed tier. So he's actually more of a mixed attacker, which I don't really think is that good. We don't really have very many good, well, we don't have any good like mixed attacker equips. The best we've got is the Spooky Squasher, and while it's good, I mean, it's like kind of like whatever. Its base effect is like useful in multiplayer, but there are better options. You can bring like that Jabanyan, the Komasan Halloween costumes. You can bring Maginian. You can bring Myrmidana. And it's really better to just like focus on one of them. Like as you can see, I lose like 40 strength here, which is whatever, but I gain a huge base spirit. But I'd rather have something like, you know, the Moon Shadow that's dropping the foe's defense and then hyper-focusing on one of his variations. You see, because he's got both physical and special moves, he's got like 2 setups you can run. You can run a more like special focus setup, however, since his basic attack is physical and uses the strength stat, you're going to like not have any sort of good basic attacks. You're just going to be like a base game special user, so kind of mid. But he also does lose his defense debuff, so why don't we go ahead and talk about his moves. So his basic attack is Double Slice. Now it has 33 base power, but you can hit it twice, and it actually has a higher crit rate than normal. This is the first time that I've actually had to deal with this. So it's got 30% critical hit rate, which is really useful, because, you know, doing more damage is very nice. And if you're just going to have that as a basic attack on your basic effect, like a basic effect on your basic attack, that's pretty useful. Forgot to mention his skill. His skill is Vampiric. Absorbs 10% of the damage dealt. Like kind of like Snee. You know, when I made a Snee guide, he's like Snee, but more DPS focused and less tanking. His first learnable move is Dash Attack. Dash Attack, I mean, you know it. You've played Shogun. It's got 80 base power, 4 seconds of cooldown, 16 soul meter, you know, very useful. He's also got Fall Back Attack, 70 base power, 4 second cooldown, 16 soul meter, super useful. And he also still has Reaper and Zazel Orb, so you can still drop foes' defense and attack, but I don't really think it functions that well, and I like more DPS focus with this because I like the combo focused. Also, his ultimate. His ultimate is now Moonless Bloodshed. It has 200 base power, it hits twice. It uses the Spirit stat, so if you're using a more Spirit-focused setup, I would recommend still bringing like the Agate Ring and then like a Count Cavity Soul, so you can still have 100% soul meter, but then at that point, why would you not just play normal Zazel? So it's a little bit worse to play Vampire Zazel as like a Spirit user, But he can work very well as a combo character because Double Slice is a really good basic attack. We still got Katsu-chan, but I swapped his healing for the Whisper Soul. And we also have KJ Plus, who's just like a tanky character. Really, he's just here because, I mean, he's like cool. Look at him. Look at how cool he is. He's got a Striker Song, which might buff my strength and speed. And he's got the, this is my jam. All allies get 5% strength. I mean, it's like, cool, why not? Might as well. And then Princess Pearl's still here because, like, she's just, like, one of the best healers. So, why don't we go ahead and check out Vampire Zazel and see just how cool he really is, because look at him. I always thought he was, like, a train conductor before I realized he was a vampire, but, you know, he could be, like, a vampire train conductor. It'd be cool. So, we're going to start off with the Shogun King because I have an aura against the Robanyans because, of course I do. And so, I have Golden Yan here instead of KJ, because KJ, while he's, like, cool and all, he doesn't do enough damage for the Lost Souls phase. So I brought Golden Yan because he will. He can also buff me, so that's pretty cool. Now, he does not have any sort of defensive equips on. He's got pure offense, so yeah. So hopefully he'll have his ultimate ready, and Katsu-chan might also have his ultimate ready, and then we'll be able to just switch to Golden Yan real quick, get the support, because Vampire Zazel's like cool and all, but his main drawback is that he doesn't do much damage, because while he does have a really good hyper offensive kit, his skill, I don't really like the drain skills, because like while your self-sustainability is cool and all, it doesn't really work against this boss specifically because he just attacks so much that because you don't have like the basic move of dodge, you just cannot dodge fast enough. Even if you have your ultimate and fallback attack ready, it just doesn't work. So, big shame. Golden Yan's already got his Salt ready, so we're perfectly fine there. Dodge. Do my ultimate. The thing with his ultimate, because it's actual like drain attribute, it heals way more than my skill does, even though my like attacks have like 500 strength, because it's the drain attribute, and even though it's running off my 200, like, what is it, 55 spirit? Doesn't really matter, it just heals like 100 HP per hit. Very nice. Super useful. So I got the Vampiric Fangs, because a little bit more defense works for this boss, because since he flies away and, like, stops the fight so much, being able to, like, debuff and, like, combo doesn't really matter in this fight. So I just went full healing. I do still have the Swirly Somai Red Paw Soul on, because dropping enemy attack is just so useful, especially because of, like, how fast we can attack with this double slice. Super useful. Alright, so now we're going to go here. We're going to buff everyone. Go back to Golden Yan. And now we're just going to do this. So, very easily able to just attack. Vampire Zazel doing all of these basic attacks. Now, if I was playing with other people, I would be able to perfectly use Vampire Zazel, like, no problem. But with CPUs, they're pretty stupid. So, I have to play as the computer, like, just for a minute. And as you can see, Vampire Zazel, he's putting in work. As you can see, we still missed one. Like, what the heck? It doesn't matter. So now I'm able to buff myself again. And as you can see, huge buffs, huge healing, and now we're perfectly fine. I missed that buff. Sad. Fallback attack. I love it. If you were to bring, like, a Cicada Soul, that would actually be, like, a really good additional soul to bring, because then you'd have more dash attacks and fallback attacks, which are really big hits, and then you'd be able to heal more. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can do with Zazel. He's got, like, a lot of really good options. As you can see, offensive Golden Yan does not work. So, yeah. It does not work for the CPU. We'll help heal him up, why not? That's a big hit, but we can take one hit, and then we're fine. Keep this up. Dodge. Perfectly avoid them. Let's go. Alright, so now we're going to keep this up. Dodge. Do that. Do Princess Pearl. Golden Yan. Do I have Katsu-chan? I do have Katsu-chan. So as you can see, we could just do some wild damage. Like, for a non-damage dealer, or like a non, pure offensive damage dealer, this is crazy damage. Look at this. You'll love to see it. So we're going to switch back to Golden Yan. He's got Ultra Force Field, so I can just, force my allies to be safe. And I'm going to make sure we can get his ultimate, because I know for a fact we are going to have to deal with the souls again, so just play as Goldenion a little bit with the Golden Claw soul, spam this a little bit. Love to see it. Get some cool debuffs. And we're going to hopefully be able to survive. So, do all this. Self-buff, because... Oh wait, I buffed myself. I buffed Zazel, which is pretty useful in all things considered, so it's fine. There are worse mistakes I could have made. But yeah, as you can see, Goldenion's really good. I should probably give Goldenion his own, like, setup. Goldenion's like, I love Goldenion. I love playing Goldenion so much. He's so cool. The only problem I have is that when I'm playing with other people, like, I end up getting targeted a lot, so it's kind of like a pain to use them, but whatever. So we're going to Sultimate. Thanks for the dodge, because my Sultimate button wasn't working. Dodge, so that way I don't get hit with the double hitbox. And as you can see, like, we pretty easily win. Vampire Zazel is able to, like, keep up. As long as we're not, like, Purple Sword. Purple Sword, he, like, struggles a little bit. He can work if you have, like, a second person at least. Someone that's, like, capable of dodging. But once all your CPU allies are dead, if Vampire Zazel, he can't keep up. He just, fallback attack is good and all. Like, it's great. It's a great move. But not being able to have, like, actual, like, dodge, which is just, it just comes back so much faster. It's just so much better of an offensive, like, an evasion-based move than, like, fallback attack. For this fight specifically. He works everywhere else, though. He's great. So to end it off, let's fight Robonion 3000. I have a Choco Bar from Goldenion still. So, we'll be fine. So the thing with Robonion 3000 is that he's way more willing to sit here and take attacks. He doesn't attack nearly as, like, often. I mean, he does attack, like, more often, but he doesn't, like, power up and get more range, because that's the only time that Shogun King really dies, and I don't there's not like a damage check. That's the main reason that Shogun King's so difficult, is because he just has like a damage check, and if you don't deal enough damage to the little souls, then you're just going to like suffer for it. Robonion 3000 has nothing like that, and even if like the little Robonions come in, I can just heal myself as I attack them, so it's not that big a deal. So as you can see, we can just keep attacking over and over. Oh no, I'm taking damage. I can just dash attack, and there we go. It's all back. I really like being able to like attack so often with Vampire Zazel. I wish he had like dodge instead, like obviously, but then he'd just be like Shogunyon. So I understand the uniqueness. And with the healing Sultimate, it's pretty useful. He's not as good of a combo character as some characters, but I mean, being able to heal yourself, useful in some scenarios. You can easily find use for this character, and if your favorite character is Zazel, he's still like really good, and you can still easily get away with running him. So we're just gonna run over here. Oh, make sure that I don't run into it. It's weirdly fast, so you just gotta pay attention. Dodge, because I feel like I was in the range for that. Here's the little guys. Make sure that we can attack. Oh, hit that dash attack. Hit that fallback attack, hit this over and over. Oh no. Make sure that I don't die to something stupid like that. Dash attack. Oh, take damage. Doesn't matter, because I can just Sultimate, and if I didn't already get healed by Princess Pearl, I would have fully healed myself right there. So it's very easy to just not die with Vampire Zazel, as long as you're paying attention. He's really good. I really like him. So we're just going, oh, yep, make sure I don't die to the Dark Top. Because Dark Top, it does a lot of damage, even with my big like buffs. That's still a lot. So we don't have any sort of buffs by my allies, because they don't really like to aim for me, but we can easily make this work. So I'm using a Vampire Zazel and normal Zazel because it's almost Halloween. Tomorrow I'm going to do a character like skins tier list, because it's Halloween Eve, but there's a Puni event coming out on actual Halloween, so sadly, yeah, oh, big damage. Sadly, I will not be able to make an actual like Halloween video, big sad, but we're close enough. You get 2 Halloween videos before Halloween to get you into the Halloween mood, all that. Oh yeah, the reason Dark Top probably didn't do that much damage is because I'm like a combo character, debuffing, so that's probably why it didn't do that much damage. I mean, it wouldn't one-shot me with this setup anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, as you can see, he does a lot of damage when I'm not, like, bullying him. Actually, why don't we see how much damage his Dark Top does to me with all of this. Yeah, it does a huge chunk of my HP. But because I'm just so tanky, like, I can just come back here. Oh, he dodged it. So Princess Pearl healing actually, like, helped right there, but whatever. Oh no, fallback attack. Yeah, Vampire Zazel, I really like that he's playable. Very fun. I like being able to play as, like, Poonie characters. I just think it's fun because Poonie's, like, the video like, the game I'm most well known for playing, so, yeah. Pretty nice to be able to play as a Nyambo character from, like, so long ago. He came out when I was, like, taking a break from Poonie, so that's pretty neat. But yeah, Zazel, really cool. You can play a physical Zazel or a special Zazel, both in Vampire Zazel, and then you got normal Zazel. You got a lot of options to play as Zazel. So, any sort of Zazel fan, they got a lot to, like, pick from. Like, look at the bats on him. This costume's really cool, I like it. The only thing I don't like is that, the jittery run. I don't know if that can be fixed or not, but if it can, it'd be super nice. So, yeah, Zazel, really cool character. Very useful, and just like a better Snee, basically. With all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Zazel, really like him. Vampire Zazel, not as good, but he's still pretty usable. And, Super Sucker, if you give him, like, a bunch of stuff, really good. If we get an equip that's, like, really good for mixed attackers, I'd be able to run, like, the debuffs, be able to run Reap to heal myself a lot. So, if we get something like that, be super useful to play as a Vampire Zazel, but overall, it's kind of just better to have, like, the self-healing, ultimate spamming, debuffing regular Zazel. So, he's neat, as long as you've got, like, good enough allies that, like, don't die. He can be a really good support, but he can also function as just a very self-sufficient character. So, yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this next guide. Might be Golden Yawn, maybe. Maybe I'll do, like, Big Boss, not Big Boss, Big Boss, not Big Boss, go in order like that. So, look forward to that, because Golden Yawn was actually, like, really impressive during the Shogun King fight. So, with all that said, hope you enjoyed, and, yeah, go get your Zazel. I forgot to mention how to, like, get this character. So, I should have, like, done this from the start. But, I mean, it's, like, really simple. You think, Zazel, where do I get Zazel? Obviously, the Zazel boss fight. Specifically, Ultra Zazel difficulty, not Lunar. So, just, there he is right there. And then in Super version, you got Aristocat and Duke Doggy, his pets. So, very easy to get them. And then, once you beat Captain Thunder, you already have access to costumes, so you already got Vampire Zazel. So, very easy to get them both. So, with all that said, hope you enjoyed, and yeah. Thanks for watching, and subscribe. I'm almost at 2,000!